What up guys, got home today, got some new stuff. Some drag bars. These Cultworks bars, straight through. I think they're 32 inches long. There's a little bit of pullback on there as well, but they're totally flat. So I've got the drag bars. Oh my day, these are so nice. These are really nice. So Motogadget, the Motogadget grips, solid aluminium. They're just so well made. They were quite pricey, but I just, you know, this is the main bit of my contact with the bike, so I wanted it to feel good. And then you probably notice there's nothing on the end, and there is a thread on there, which I will be attaching these, which are the Motogadget bar end indicators. So we'll have a go at wiring those up, putting them on the end of the drag bars. But I also got some R&S pegs and grips, not grips, that's a load of shit, pegs and shifter, which will replace the old stock ones that I've got on here, although I will need to grind down the, what do they call it? Is it clef? I think it's a clef. This little bit here, or cleat. I don't know, whatever. So it's one of those two. That basically is too long on the 48s, and that needs to be ground back so that those pegs can be fitted. Okay, so first job is I'm going to take off the old grips. So that will be just a straight cut through job. Then I need to take off the electrics on both sides, the electric controls, disconnect the cables, and then I can take off the top clamp. Okay. Electrics off, pretty straightforward. Undo a couple of bolts, take off the throttle cable. You've got to loosen the throttle adjuster just to enable you to get the cables off there. And then I've just disconnected the other side. So next is removing the final rubber grip, taking the centre bolts of the riser out, and then I can take these bars off and remove the indicators. Boom, indicators off. Really simple, just one bolt. Take that bolt out, indicator drops down, put the bolt back in for the retainer, one at a time so that nothing moves, and simple. So next I'm gonna look at the new bar, and I've got to work out how to wire in the new indicators on the grips. By the way, doesn't the bike look awesome with the bars removed? Just, oh, it looks sick. The inner tube did not fit very cleanly inside the Motogadget grip. So what I've had to do is, there were these sort of lines on the stock grip that ran all the way down, and they just were too thick. Because the Motogadget grips that I've bought are aluminium, there's just no flex, so I've used a Stanley knife and just cut those back and taken them off, and then I've sanded the tube down to make it nice and smooth, and now it should fit nicely. And there we go, Motogadget grip on, and then the inner tubing, which is going to attach to the throttle controls, is now slide nicely inside, and that's perfect in terms of firmness. It's not slipping or going anywhere, so I didn't need to use any adhesive either. So now I'm going to need to work out the indicators and probably drill a few holes in the bars so that I can run the Motogadget ends into the grips. But before I do that, I'm just going to take apart the old indicators and just get them wired up to the new Motogadget indicators before I fit the tubes, just to make sure that it all works. And right, so installing the indicators. This is the stock indicator. What you're going to want to do is cut this cable, which will expose two wires like this. So you will have a purple wire, and then you'll have a black wire. So what you're going to want to do when you get your Motogadget indicators is connect your red wire to purple and your black wire to black. Next, we're going to need to have to drill a hole in the bottom of the bar, 3mm, deburr it so that I can feed the indicator wires up through the bar, just like that. That's all you need, a little hole. Okay, so now we're ready to start assembling the indicator and then feeding it through the end of the pipe to bring it out of the hole. So, first things first, you're going to need to put the indicator onto the end of your Motogadget grip. Now, you will get a selection of rubber cylinders like this, and you need to find the one that is small enough to slide inside and rattle around, but is pretty close to being at the edge. So if you drop it, it will fall through, but it's not far off. So in this case for me, this one is perfect. Don't worry about the fact it's not big enough, because this is going to expand. This is the order that you need to now drop onto this wire. So we need to go the little O-ring first, then the right washer size to fit on top of your rubber bung, and then we need the lock. Okay, there we go. There's your order. So now we've got to do the difficult bit. These two cables, the end of these two cables, need to be fed into this end of the tube, and then you need to pull them out of your tiny little 3mm hole. Okay, so you want to take your Motogadget grip, you want to take the indicator end and apply the thin washer. This one seems to fit best for me rather than the fat one. And then you want to take the two ends of your Motogadget cable, you want to feed them into here, and then pull the indicator all the way through so that it sits snugly here. Okay guys, so indicator is now fed through. We've got the black and the red cable which run through the pipe, and then they come out of the centre of the bars here. The easiest way by far that I found to do this was to take a piece of nylon thread, like so, attach to the end a small weight. I actually used a very small nail, pushed that through the hole and tied it on, and then just lifted the bars up. The weight fell out the other end, and then I tied the end of the cables onto the string and just pulled it back through. So now we need to attach the indicator onto the grip. So in this case we need to tighten this bolt. That's going to squeeze this rubber washer, and we need to get it just squeezed enough so that it creates a bit of resistance when we're pushing it into this hole. And then all we simply do is twist the light round, and then it will self-tighten and get more and more resistant. And then it just needs to do that enough so that it stays in place. So let's do that now. Okay, there we go. So I've tightened this just enough so that the rubber bung has started to compress. And now if I gently bring the cables up, put the washer in place, then this should just have enough resistance to help me ease it into position. Okay, bars are now fitted back on the bike, refitted the clamp and put the controls and levers back on. So the next job, in the final job, is cutting off the old indicators and then splicing those cables into the little connectors, crimp connectors that are provided, like I've done on this side, connecting purple to red and black to black. And there we go, bars fitted. So next I will be fitting the pegs and moving the plate to the left with the side plate kit. So if you'd like to see that, subscribe, and that'll be the next one.